Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried and Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Okay, we are back. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Thank you once again for tuning in. Love you guys. Your support's fantastic. I want to give a shout out to our amazing sponsors, Siegfried and Jensen, Wasatch Recovery, Living Recovery Interventions, Thread Wallets. We just landed Thread Wallets. I'm so excited for that. And Veracity Networks. And thank you for supporting me. The music that you heard at the beginning of this podcast and at the end is by my good friend Paul Cardall. He's an award-winning pianist. He has 25 million active listeners every month, and he's one of my heroes, honestly. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I just blows my mind of these amazing people that I bring on here that are willing to come on and be vulnerable. And today's going to be no different. Today we are joined with and by Lacey Swenson. Lacey, thanks for joining us.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so good to be here with you. Lacey is married to AJ. She's got 3 girls, and then one was surrogacy.
Surrogacy, yeah.
It's a tongue twister for me for some reason.
It is, yeah.
We'll talk about that. You're a mom who was once a foster kid turned adoptee. You live off a diet Dr. Pepper. You're a certified personal trainer. You're a mental health advocate and a mentor. You try to help people just become the new you. Mm-hmm. You're also an ambassador. How do you say it?
Zyia.
Zyia.
Yeah.
It's an activewear ambassador and dealer. Just basically hooking you up one sports bra at a time. I love that. Mm-hmm. And basically you're just here to help people through their own stumbles and triumphs, because you've been through your own stumbles and triumphs, and you're very energetic. Mm-hmm. I was just telling Lacey before we went live, I just love your vulnerability. I discovered you honestly on Instagram, mm-hmm. and when I heard your story and read your story, I was like, who is this woman? I'm just really impressed with how vulnerable you are, and then people aren't going to believe what you've been through when they hear your story. It's going to be mind-blowing. But I want to share, you just posted mm-hmm. for the month of May. The month of May is Foster Care Month.
Correct.
And you did one of the most beautiful posts I think I've ever read. Do you mind if I share that?
Yeah, no,
just to kick this off?
Thank you.
So here's what you said. May is National Foster Care Month. Couldn't let it go by without telling a little of my story. My foster care story is a little different than most. When I was 10, I was living with a family member. I was being sexually abused by someone close to the family member. I built up the courage and told her what was happening. She didn't believe me. It stopped for a minute. I gained hope it was over, not realizing that he was just biding time, grooming me in the meantime, trying to gain my trust again. I had started dressing like a boy a few years earlier, hoping that maybe if I looked different, this world would stop happening to me. I couldn't figure out why I was back in this situation over and over. My brain told me it was my fault, which meant you didn't speak up about it anymore. I met a friend. She was really a good friend, sweet and very kind to me. After a while, I got the courage to tell her what was happening. Her family was always so nice to me, and they were different than any other family I was used to seeing. I didn't know why. I told her not to tell because I didn't want to get into trouble again. She didn't listen, and I'll forever be grateful, because I didn't have to go back to that nightmare again. They stepped in when They stepped in when those who were supposed to protect me had failed me in every possible way. My friend, who is now my sister, spoke up on my behalf, and because of that, she significantly altered my trajectory of my life forever. Because of her, generations were changed. As foster parents, we are asked not only to care for the basic needs of a child, but also to sit alongside of them as they discuss the hurt and the damage that they have undeservingly experienced. Forever grateful for it all. I'm not a victim, but a survivor. What a beautiful post. And more importantly, just a beautiful thing that you're willing to share that with us. So thank you, Lacey, for being here.
Thank you.
What a way to start this off, right? So why don't we start? I mean, we're going to get into all this.
Sure.
Why don't we just start? Tell us about your child, because obviously you went through some really tough things, but talk about how you were as a child and kind of go from there.
Okay. And I'll try and make this as short and sweet as possible because I tend to be long-winded. But
okay.
So I grew up in a very abusive environment. My mom was 15 when she had me, bless her heart.
Wow.
And my grandma was 15 when she had her, and it was just just a generational issue that was happening anyway. And my biological dad was in and out of the picture, and my mom ended up getting married to my stepdad when I was young, and they had 3 more children, but they were very heavily involved in drugs. We were very neglected. My mom was abusive.
Okay.
And I was the oldest of 4. I had 3 younger siblings, and I was basically their caretaker.
Okay.
From, I don't know, the moment that I could remember. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I was in that situation until I was about 10, and you read a little bit of my story, and that was an ongoing thing throughout my life. And I remember telling my mom one time that it was happening to me, and she looked at me and she said, well, what am I supposed to do? That's one of your dad's best customers, one of his best drug customers.
Oh, wow. And
so I tried as best as I could to shield my younger siblings from it and took a lot of the brunt of all of that, because I just felt like it was my job. And I'm glad that I did. But
sure.
So I had to grow up from a young age, taking care of them, going through a lot. But you know what's interesting about it is when I was in it, that was normal. I felt that it wasn't.
Right.
But that was my normal.
Yeah, you didn't know really any different because, again, that was your almost your first experience with what life was like.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I was surrounded by it, and so I just assumed that that's how it's supposed to be. But deep down, I knew something was off, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it, which is why I ended up moving in with this other family member, and then that was when I had gotten out of the situation. Was through that. And then shortly after that, my stepdad died. He was 31. He died of a drug overdose. And then my mom went to prison. The state had been involved. They knew what was going on.
Yeah.
My school counselors had been talking to them about my situation, unbeknownst to me, thankfully. Anyway, and that was kind of their final straw. And so what's interesting about the system, though, is that so at this time, when my stepdad died and they finally got involved, I was living with my now adopted family.
Okay.
So I was living with them. They weren't certified to be foster care parents. They just took me in. And so when all of that went down, my younger siblings, who are not my full siblings, so I was the only one with my biological dad, my biological mom. My stepdad was their father. So when he died, the state put them in his mom's custody, but they wouldn't allow me to go with her because she wasn't blood relative. It was really interesting. But all of my blood relatives or full blood relatives couldn't take me because of all of the issues that
were going on.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh,
so they came to my adopted family and they said, if you want to keep her, you have to be foster care certified or she'll go into the system. And they didn't even hesitate. Thankfully, they didn't even hesitate. And
wow,
so
what a turn of events that would have been had they said, well, we can't do that or whatever it might have been. But wow, what a blessing.
Right. And just looking back now, looking at how it all lined up, I can very much see Heavenly Father's hand in it all, and it couldn't have worked out any better. Yeah.
Wow. And again, I can't even imagine what you were going through. And again, even if you take, the abuse part out of it and just you being the motherly parent to your siblings, that alone's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Just being that. Yeah. Did you ever feel pressure? Did it feel like it was overwhelming in that sense, or? Yes,
which is partially why I ended up moving out with this other family member.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. It just felt like, oh, maybe this will be a better situation. And it was for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
So, they take you in and, things are starting to change. You're kind of free and safe from what was going on. But obviously, I'm sure there was these lingering things that you're starting to wrestle with. If you're okay, just maybe kind of talk about some of those challenges moving forward, even though you're now in a good environment,
Right. Looking back, I can see how troubled I was. My normal was not normal. And I didn't quite understand that. So it was a lot of growing pains on both my adopted family's part and my part. They had to take a lot of foster care classes, so they knew the process.
Yeah.
My sister was 6 months older than me. She had four older brothers, and then my dad. And at that time, in my brain, men were not to be trusted. So I was terrified of all of these men. And my dad was wonderful. He just really quiet, just let me come to him when I needed.
When you wanted to.
Yeah, and I watched him with my sister, and I saw that relationship, and that's what really won me over, is because I could actions speak louder than words, and I could tell he was just a good man. But anyway, a lot of therapy. I did a lot of therapy, thank goodness, and things really, I really started to see what normal was, and there's obviously a lot of trauma that I didn't quite understand. My adopted parents still allowed my biological mom to be in my life. Okay. And a lot of my biological family, because they knew at the time, I very much needed them. Yeah. Still, even though it wasn't a great environment, they were still my family. Yeah. And so.
Well, and you mentioned, so it was it your father that passed, or your stepfather that passed?
My stepdad was the one that passed. My biological father, wasn't really in the picture.
Wasn't in the picture.
He'd only come around if he had a new girlfriend.
So not only did you not have your biological dad, your stepfather dies, and then at the same time, or at least around that, your mom went to prison. How long was she there? In prison?
A few years.
A few years. Yeah. Okay. And again, I mean, talk about, as a kid, dealing with all of this. In those moments, were you like, and this might sound like a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Were you depressed? Were you sad? What was going through a mind of a kid going through all this, watching the family kind of just almost falling apart?
Oh, for sure. Very sad. I was angry.
Yeah.
I was really angry.
Yeah.
I was on depression meds for a few years. Coping was so hard, especially going to a different school. It honestly felt like a completely different world, and I really had a hard time coping with that. And I had a few bad counselors, and it was a rough time for sure. But my family was so patient with me. Yeah, thank goodness, because that was a big deal for them, and a lot of changes for them. Yeah. It was something I didn't recognize at first.
Yeah. It affected everybody, obviously.
Correct.
Did you ever get caught up in drugs and alcohol as a way to cope? Because I know a lot of people who do go through something like that. Right. It almost is 100% of the time they go that direction. Did you get caught up in any of that?
No. Wow. So when I was younger, my biological mom would let me drink her wine coolers. Right. She just, you want to taste, and so I don't know. It was normal part of my life, and then I went to this family that was complete opposite. They didn't do any of those things. In our home, it was preached that we don't do those things. And I didn't, because I had such a wonderful example of what I didn't want to be. Wow. I knew that I could see the difference between the two families. Oh, okay. And I could see what they were doing different. And so for me, it was never temptation.
Well, I love what you said right there. It's the power of example. Yeah. Right? You had one example that was obviously not doing the things you probably shouldn't be doing, obviously. And then this other family, maybe obviously not perfect, but doing things in the right way. Yeah. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. That's just what hit me when you said that. I'm like, man, example really does matter. Right?
It does.
So how long, you're going through this, you went through therapy and things like that. You go to school, you're in high school. Are you involved in high school? Are you like getting involved with sports or cheerleading, or what was it like in high school for you?
A little bit of basketball.
Hoop. Yeah. Hey, that's my sport.
Really?
That's awesome. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. It taught me a lot of discipline. I didn't do it throughout my entire high school career. I ended up not being a very great student. I really struggled with that because my foundation wasn't there when I was in my biological family's home. I either didn't go to school, or when we did go to school, we were bouncing around to different schools. And so I really struggled because I didn't have that foundation. And so what I'd have to do is go back and relearn the basics so that I could build on that.
Okay.
And so school was so hard for me. I was so self-conscious in school.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I ended up doing packets to finish high school. To finish
off, yeah.
Yeah, because it felt easier.
Yeah. Well, so how long after, let's say, you graduate from high school, what was your life like after that? And then when did you end up meeting AJ? And let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so my senior year, I ended up doing higher school and I met AJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was 17 and he was fresh off of mission. He was 21. And I remember, oh my gosh, I thought he was the cutest thing in the world. But then I found out his age and I was like, oh, geez. So I was like, no, it's
You're
not
too old for me.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. So I wrote it off, and he's this sneaky little bugger. But we ended up going out with some mutual friends off-roading, and I got stuck, and he pulled me out, and he ended up keeping my tow rope, and then he found me on MySpace.
Back when MySpace was
around.
Yes,
yeah, it was the Facebook. And
yeah.
And then I remember, it was so funny because I remember when I got stuck, I thought to myself, this is what you get for missing Young Women's.
Yeah.
If you hadn't missed Young Women's, you wouldn't be in this position, and just terrified to go tell my dad that I got his Jeep stuck. But anyway, it was wonderful. And I'm so grateful for AJ because I was still dealing with a lot of lingering trauma that I didn't realize. And
sure,
he was such a pillar of strength for me, and he just kept me on the straight and narrow. And I'll forever be grateful to him for that, because it hasn't been easy,
for sure,
and yeah.
Well, shout out to AJ. There's some good men out there in the world, right?
Yes.
And I get why in the beginning you didn't trust men. Why would you?
Right.
After what you've been through. But there's good men like AJ out there, and that's really cool that you shared that. That chokes me up too. That's really neat. I'm really big about belief systems because our beliefs dictate the way we behave. And
correct.
You probably formed some belief systems about yourself going through all of this. What were some negative beliefs that you had about yourself going through all of this?
A big one was that I was unlovable, and that had been, my brain had picked up on that as being true, because there are so many times that I've learned later that it stems from abandonment trauma.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would push people away, push them as far as I could, just to see if they were going to stay and if they were going to love me. So it was a negative pattern that I did for a long time. And I didn't even realize it until my therapist had brought it up, and he's like, you have abandonment trauma, and this is why that is. And so I just felt on a subconscious level that obviously something was wrong with me, because I was unlovable, and that everyone's just going to eventually abandon me.
Yeah. I work with a lot of clients who, it's drug addiction or they've got some mental health issue that they're dealing with. And the number one, I've been doing this for 32 years, the number one irrational negative belief that people buy into is I'm not good enough.
Right.
Which is a part of unlovable.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with me.
Correct.
Because of what happened to me, that kind of thing. And I'll tell you, that is the one that keeps people stuck the most. Yeah. So is there something else there you want to share on that? But I think what you said is, I think everyone listening to this on some level can go, I get it, because I've been there too, where I just do not feel good enough.
Right. And I love what you said, because it is a belief system. It's a story that we tell ourselves, and our brains are so smart, and it will look for that evidence. Yeah. And it will tell you that you're correct.
Yep.
And you're not.
You're not. Yeah. So how did you fight through that? How did you, obviously I know you did therapy and stuff, but maybe just talk in general, like what do you do? Like even today, what are some things you do, Lacey, that kind of keeps you going, no, that's not me. This is the real me.
It is a constant battle. It's a daily battle. And if I'm being honest, I didn't even realize that I was struggling so much with it until about a year ago. I hit rock bottom. My trauma, I'd been shoving it under the rug for the longest time, and I had no idea. And then I hit rock bottom. I finally went to see another therapist, and he told me, it was kind of a miracle, because he used to be the head therapist of the foster care system. And I just landed in his lap, essentially. Yeah. And he told me, he said, you've done a lot of work, but you still have a lot of trauma that has not been taken care of. Yeah. And he's like, we're going to fix that. And so he really helped open my eyes to what was going on, because knowledge is not, or education is knowledge. And if you have knowledge, then you have somewhere to go. You have a direction to go. And so once I figured that out, I really just put my head down and looked for all of the things that I could fix with that.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Well, I was just wondering how you dealt with that, and and how, because those beliefs run deep, because it started when you were a kid. You don't know any different.
Right.
So you just believe it, and then you walk around believing it, and then one day as you go through this and you see things differently, you're going, man, I still got to fight that belief, because on some level I still feel unlovable. Mm-hmm. So how did you combat that, and and how do you challenge that on a daily basis kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. So I've taken some coaching from a coach, and she's been the catalyst for me, I feel, to change those stories and those beliefs in my head.
Right.
And like I said, it's a daily battle where I have to, it's called a thought model, but essentially every day I journal out, and it's what are my thoughts, and then I have to work through those.
Yeah.
And it has been life-changing.
Good.
And just reaching this higher self of where I feel that Heavenly Father wants me, and breaking out of these walls that I had put up, so I journal every day, and there's something that I actually mentor.
Okay.
In a group called Anya, and something that we do every day is called Mommy, and this can be applied to anybody. It's just the acronym that we use. So we meet with God, and it's spelled MOMMY. Meet with God. O is opportunity for growth, like a book or podcast.
Right.
M is moment of stillness or meditation / prayer.
Okay.
The other M is movement, so exercise or walking. And then Y is yourself, showering. Mine is hitting up swig.
Yeah, you and my wife get along really well.
Oh, really?
She loves swig.
Oh man.
She'd go every night if we could. Yeah.
They know my name.
You know, it's so funny. So we live close to another restaurant, mm-hmm. and she would always go down there and get a Diet Dr. Pepper. Mm-hmm. And they got to the point where they recognize her voice in, like, hey, what would you like to order? And they can't see you yet, but they would recognize, oh, is this Bonnie? Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
That was so funny. Yeah, they know. They know me, and I've even tried switching between my two locations. Both of them know me now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. So do those one more time. So Mommy stands for Meet with God.
Meet with God.
Opportunity.
For growth.
And then movement or stillness or prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Moment.
Yeah,
right?
Moment of stillness or meditation.
And then movement, which is physical activity, right? Mm-hmm. And then do something for yourself.
Correct.
Love that.
And it could be, I think sometimes we tend to overcomplicate it. It could be something simple, like go sit in your car for just 5 minutes and listen to some music.
And so you mentor people in this area and do that. Very cool.
And it's hard as a mom, and I get it, but just even a few minutes, and that's one thing that we preach. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It's just simple.
I love that. Simplicity is power.
Yes.
I think we as humans always try to overcomplicate everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So... Wow. I love that you do that. And again, think about, do you feel like, even though you went through all this hard stuff, mm-hmm. that it helps you become a better mentor for other people?
Yes. This is one thing I think of, and I had to change my thought process on this, or my perspective, is that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you.
You're speaking my language. I love this. Yes.
And essentially, I used to run half marathons, and I remember one of the things, why would you do that? People would ask me all the time, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm wondering the same thing. But then I realized it was the person that I became through that process, through the determination and the grit and everything that you have to push through. And essentially, in my brain, that's what we agreed to when we came to Earth. Yeah. It's almost like this is school, the school of life, and we agreed to all of these trials so that we can become the person that Heavenly Father wants us to become. And I also feel that our trials aren't always for us, but they're for other people.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And I love the life happens for me. Mm-hmm. Because the other way life happens to me, that is a victim mentality, right? And granted, when you were going through the abuse, you were the victim in the moment, obviously. And luckily you see past that going, no, I don't need to be that anymore. It happened to me, but it's not who I am today.
Right.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
How you kind of look at it?
Well, and I feel too that if I continue to stay in that victim mentality, then I lose my power.
Yeah.
But when I take it back and I say, no, I'm a survivor, then I take my power back.
Survivor.
Yeah. And it's just like I was saying with, understanding or knowing why maybe you do certain things. That was my biggest thing, is understanding why was because of that trauma. It doesn't give me a justification or an excuse to continue the behavior.
Exactly.
It gives me power because I understand it.
Yeah. So I love this. This is incredible. I want to ask you, you're really vulnerable. And is that an accurate statement?
Yes.
Because, and I'm going off your posts on Instagram and the things that you say, you're not just posting some, hey, in times you have fun with it. Don't get me wrong. And I love how you're really creative too, but your posts and the things you say in your words are very vulnerable. Why is vulnerability so important for you?
Because I want someone to have a lifeline in their deepest, darkest despair moments. I don't know how to describe it, because when I was in those moments, let me give you an example. Mary Magdalene from the scriptures. She, when I hit rock bottom, she was that person for me. And I love that she was relatable, because it wasn't that she was just this amazing, or she was amazing, but she wasn't this perfect person. She went through a lot of stuff, and I grasped onto her so hard, and I realized that she became a new creature through Christ. And if she can do that, then I can do that. And so that's where I come from. It is hard to be vulnerable, and to talk about these things. I more or less worry about the people that read them. I would hate to be a trigger for anybody. But on the same token, I'm like, who out there needs this? And I'm willing to be that, because I didn't go through these things just for me. I went through these things for other people.
Well, I think that's what makes you so relatable. People see, you're not afraid to share what you've been through, obviously. And I think people actually really appreciate that. I don't even think it could be a trigger, because I think ultimately they go, wow, look at what she's been through, and the way she talks about it. Because again, you do it in a very loving, compassionate way.
Thank you.
And, I always say this, the amount of vulnerability we're willing to express will be equal to the happiness we experience in life.
I love that.
And I see that just with what you do. And just, you really are a very happy person, despite all this challenge that you've been through. The next thing I want to ask you is, obviously faith is a big thing in your life, and it's very important to you. Talk about that and how that's shaped you, and what that helps you with moving forward.
It gives me an answer, more or less. I would say not only that, but it gives me something to hold on to, because I look at it from a bigger picture. And how I can see that, like I said before, that life is happening for me and not just to me. There's a purpose for this. And not only that, but I have that contrast of not having it growing up, and not having it, and then having it. And I feel like my eyes have been opened. And I know that I can heal from it because of him. Sorry, I hope that answered your question.
No, it does. I mean, no, and again, I know that's a tough question, talking about faith and how that plays a part and a role in your life. But obviously I know it means a lot to you.
Yes.
And did you have any of that when you were growing up? Any faith, teachings or anything like that as you were growing up?
Nothing.
So when did that come into your life? Like when did you discover man, this, I have a connection with God now. Like when did that happen, if you don't mind me asking?
Not at all. It was when I went into foster care.
That's when it happened.
Yeah, because I remember the specific moment that my mom had threatened to take me to a group home. And I remember laying on my bed, and I don't know where I had any previous knowledge, or where my knowledge of God came from, but I remember looking at my ceiling and saying, why, God, why am I going through this? And I was maybe 8 or 9, but my family wasn't religious. I didn't really understand that at all. But then when I was 10, I went into foster care, and I found God through them, and I saw, like I said before, I saw how they were. I'm like, this is what makes them different. This is what I want. And then the more that I learned about it, the more I realized that I am happier and I am a better person. And that's what I want. I want something that's going to make me want to be better.
Yeah. I love that. Again, one of those differences that you noticed.
Yeah, the contrast.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I got that contrast, which is why I feel that I'm so set in it.
So how has all of this helped you be a mom? You have 3 beautiful girls. How has this helped you in being a better mom and being a mom in general?
I try very much to be the mom that I wanted or needed.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't fail, because I fail constantly. I was terrified for a long time to have kids, just wondering if these traumas would transfer to my children, and I absolutely didn't want that. And I'm not perfect. Some days I'm a good mom and some days I'm a bad mom, but I try really hard. And I'm constantly trying to look for resources to make me better or to learn to be better, because this is what I needed, and I want to be for them what I didn't have.
Yeah. Wow. They're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your girls, they're the cutest things.
Thank you. They're so fun.
Yeah, I bet they are. So you're a mentor. You know, you're an advocate. You are a certified personal trainer. You know, you support some, you know, you're an ambassador for some activewear. I mean, you're doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
What are your plans, and where do you see yourself? I mean, obviously you're a mom, and that's probably first and foremost, but do you have some plans that you want to do? Like, is there some things you want to do with what you've been through and maybe grow with what you're already doing with your mentoring or anything like that?
For sure. Growing with the mentoring, just trying to be a tool as much as possible. And just, 1, to spread kindness. And then 2, one of my favorite quotes, let me find it.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Viktor Frankl, the great Jewish psychologist that survived the concentration camps in World War II, he described laughter as one of the soul's weapons in the fight to preserve hope and life. The ability to laugh pulls you out of the moment and proves that I know this isn't all that there is, and I know there's something better. And I have something to laugh about despite my tears.
Dang.
So I love that. And so I'm going to continue to try and bring light and hope and lift the hands that hang down.
Yeah. You do seem like you have a lot of fun.
Yes, I have a lot of fun. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful quote. And Viktor Frankl, understanding what that guy went through. Right. And to be able to say that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I say this a lot to my clients, that adversity is the wake-up call to your greatness.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about the adversity you've been through, but it's woke you up to your greatness. Look what you're doing. I mean, you really are a miracle.
Thank you.
If you really think about what you've been through, I always just, you know, one of my heroes in my life, and you may have heard of her name's J.C. Dugard. Does that ring a bell? Anyway, she has a similar story to you, but she was kidnapped when she was 11 and then raped and tortured in a shed for 18 years.
Oh my goodness.
But yet, because of that, she now has this nonprofit foundation that helps battered women and abused women all over the world, millions of them.
Wow.
And had she not been through that, she wouldn't be in a position to do what she's doing.
I agree.
She wouldn't wish that on anybody or herself again, just like you wouldn't. But yet, had she not gone through it, she wouldn't have been able to do what she's doing. So it goes back to what you said earlier. Life happens for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So can you see how this has all kind of happened for you?
Yes. I tell people all the time, I wouldn't change it. If I had the chance to go back, I wouldn't change any of it. I am so grateful for it. And it has been such a blessing.
Wow.
Yeah. It took me a long time to get to that point, but it has been such a blessing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what does a day look like for you, Lacey? Like, what do you do to kind of keep yourself grounded, keep yourself centered? Obviously, you're busy being a mom, and that takes up most of your time, I'm sure, and then everything else you're doing. But what do you do for, like, self-care?
Okay, so that's a really good question. A lot of it's that mommy that I talked a lot about.
Yeah.
I always start my day with Heavenly Father.
Okay.
And reading scriptures, and then exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are big ones. Meditation is another one. And then just having fun, looking for the joy in the daily moments. And I always think everything's an adventure. If something goes wrong, it's just another adventure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then obviously spending time with your family
Of
and
course.
things like, of course,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. We're pretty active. We do a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. What are some of the things you guys do as a family that you love doing?
We do a lot of outdoors things. We do jeeping.
Okay.
A lot of
when you say jeeping, are you like going up rocks and stuff
rocks
like that?
or overlanding. Yeah.
That stuff scares me.
I know. I grew up doing it. That's how I started driving. 14 was off-road. My dad had introduced me to that.
Oh,
and
really?
So,
You've been hooked ever since on that?
Very much. And then AG and I, that's how we
love
met. And so it's very much part of our family. So we do a lot of outdoors things and hiking, just being in nature. I feel my soul just loves it. So we're out a lot.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Well, do you have, future plans with, like, I know you're an advocate and a mentor for mental health. Is there something specifically in that area other than the mentoring that you want to maybe build on or do, or, have you ever thought past that, or is that just kind of where you're at right now?
Eventually I want to write a memoir of my life. I have to get past the story in my head that I don't have anything to offer. Because like I said, I have to fight that every day. My brain really likes to tell me that. But
isn't that funny? Because the stuff you offer, like I said, just what you put on your social media, it's not just random stuff.
Yeah.
It is powerful stuff.
Thank you.
I mean, are you kidding me? You have so much to offer. Like, you literally could take all your posts, put it in a book, and sell that thing, and people would buy it because it's so powerful.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That gives me some validation. It's definitely on my to-do list.
Well, I'm going to challenge you to write a memoir, a book.
Okay.
I heard this once, and I've done it as well. I've written a book of my story, and I'll never forget. I was asked, do you want to leave a legacy? And I'm like, well, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
I want to leave a legacy.
Right.
And then this guy asked me, well, how do you do that? I'm like, well, you do good things. You're a good person. You try to treat people nicely and this. And he's like, that's all good, but that doesn't leave a legacy.
Interesting.
He says, what leaves a legacy is if you write your story down. And I went, I never thought of it that way. He goes,
me neither.
So 100 years from now, when you and I are gone, someone's reading your book and your story, Lacey, and they're going, it's changing their life. And we're not even here. That's how you leave a legacy.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm going to challenge you to do that.
Okay.
Because if I can do it, anyone can.
Okay.
I didn't even read a book until after I was out of college.
Really?
I'm not kidding you. So if I can figure this out, so can you.
Okay.
Anyway, I think you should.
I'll do it. Just because you asked me to, I'll do it.
Yeah, push you to do that.
Yeah.
But anything else that you'd like to add or share before we wrap things up?
Actually.
Please, yeah.
Because you challenged me, I want to challenge the listeners.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear this.
Okay, so my challenge is to be willing to fail in showing up in your life. Learn to become good at something by first being very bad at it.
Yeah.
Love people who don't even like you. Be open to learning. Love yourself no matter what. And take full responsibility for all of your results, but also have compassion for yourself in that process.
Whoa. I love that. That's a beautiful challenge. There you go, folks. Take the challenge. I will as well. I think that's beautiful. One of the questions I want to ask you is, if there's someone listening to you right now, Lacey, who's in a dark place, maybe they're going through some of the same things you've been through. What could you tell them right now that may help them? You've already given some great advice already, but is there something that stands out that maybe you could share?
Oh, that's a really, really good question, and I wasn't prepared for that at all.
I know. And because again, you've already given some great advice, and even in your challenge is a beautiful thing for us to do that would help anybody. But I promise you, there's someone listening to this right now that's just in a dark spot.
Yeah.
And they're not sure what to do, and you've been there and you've done that. And is there something that maybe you could share that would be helpful to them?
First off, I want them to know that they have value, regardless of any actions they've taken, any missteps or mistakes. They have value because they're them. And we have so much influence over those around us. We don't even realize that you can walk into a room and your light shines so brightly, even if you don't think it does.
Yeah.
And people need you. We need each other. and we need to hear each other's stories.
Yeah. I love that.
The other thing I would add is, I know it might feel impossible, and I want you to sit with that and ask yourself, but what if it could be possible?
Ooh.
Whatever it may be willing to sit with the uncertainty or the I don't know how, and then grow your capacity for belief. You do it over and over and over again. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where I have to fight this every day.
Yeah.
Be willing to sit in the discomfort of that impossible, and be willing to ask yourself how actually this might be possible for you. Be willing to innovate, be willing to fail, and then we create possibility. We create possibility with our beliefs. And I think of people like Edison.
Yeah.
I mean, he had no
training in anything.
No evidence of it working or being something, but he had that belief, and it changed everything. And anybody who's an innovator, they all have that one thing in common is the belief, even if there's not evidence. So I would say, even if you don't have the evidence of it being different or whatever it may be that you're struggling with, you need to have the belief, because it's there within you. You have that capacity.
Wow. I love that.
So
that's beautiful advice.
Thank you.
Seriously. I sometimes do this with my guests.
Okay.
Do you mind reading that quote up there out loud?
Not at all. The most delightful surprise in life is to suddenly recognize there's nothing wrong with you. I love that.
Yeah. And I sit there and I'm sitting here with you, Lacey, despite what you've been through. There's nothing wrong with you.
I know.
And I know you know this ultimately. That's what you've been working on. But so many people who have been through what you've been through, they again, like you said, I'm unlovable. I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I'll never be enough. And boy, that is a hard place to be, because it's so depressing and at times don't want to be here kind of thing.
Yes.
But I think that's the message I'm hearing this as I sit there and listen to you speak. I'm just going, what you've realized is, despite all that, you're okay at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing.
I love how you just broke it down.
Yeah.
Because I tend to overcomplicate. So thank you.
Yeah. Pretty simple. And that's one thing I've learned too, is simplicity is power, like you mentioned earlier as well. But, wow. I mean, you're amazing. I'm so grateful that you were willing to take some time to be on my show today.
Thank you.
We're going to touch a lot of people, hundreds of thousands. Honestly, that blows my mind.
I love what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
I love what you're doing. So thank you.
No, thank you. And well, and again, people always ask, why is it so successful? And I say, because I don't make it about me. It's about you. It's your story.
That. Yeah.
This is you. I want people to know you. And I try to chime in from time to time.
You do great.
Thank you so much. If someone wants to reach out to you and they want to get to know you better, or they want to ask you a question, or even follow some of the stuff that you do, what's the best way for someone to do that?
Social media for sure.
Okay.
Instagram is primarily where I'm at.
Okay.
Do you want me to throw my handle?
Yeah, please.
It's at the.Lacey, Lacey.Marie, Marie.
Yes.
Yeah, and they can find me there.
Find you there, best place. Like I said, I discovered you on there and I was blown away. Okay. I was like, who is this woman? And just, again, when I see your story, Lacey, it reminds me how powerful the human spirit is. Yeah. Like we're not these weak, hopeless spirits that can't do things. Right. We are powerful despite going through horrible things, and you're living proof of that. And man, I wish you the best of luck with everything you're doing. I can't wait to share this with my audience and to get people to know you better and to inspire them. And I really do believe it's going to save someone's life. I really do.
I am so grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's so good. I'm glad we finally connected like this. And anything I can do in the future for you, if you, when you're ready to promote your book, we'll have you back on the show.
That sounds good.
No pressure.
I got to get working.
No, I'm sure you'll do great with whatever you end up deciding to do. And thanks for being a light in this world because it shines bright.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Well, there you go. Lacey Swenson, guys. Please check her out on her Instagram. I will put that link in the show notes so you'll be able to just link right to it once we go live. I always like to say, if you have someone who's struggling, send them a link to this episode, and it kind of breaks the ice, and it'll give you some good talking points to bring up after they've listened to it. So please share this with as many people as you possibly can. Subscribe, like, share, write a review. All those things are very helpful. And again, thanks to my sponsors. This wouldn't be possible without you. Again, Lacey, you're amazing. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.